Hello out there, everyone. Today we're going to take a quick look at this new Scream Factory 4K Blu-ray release, Steelbook style, of Army of Darkness, a Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell collaboration, and the third entry of the Evil Dead franchise. And what I find so interesting about the Evil Dead trilogy is that all three films are very distinct in their tone. The first, of course, is just low budget, dark horror. The second, Evil Dead 2, is basically kind of like a remake of the first, but with a more mirthful, almost zany-like style to it. It's as though they decided to make a Looney Tunes version of Evil Dead 1, and I really enjoy Evil Dead 2 quite a bit. I think the cinematography and just the tone of the film is just so out there. It's definitely a cult classic for good reason. And then, of course, Army of Darkness, the third installment, is really a combination of horror, adventure, and camp. And tonally just goes out on its own direction. And I would like to point out, too, that Bill Pope is the cinematographer behind this film. And I believe he blends the second one as well. Terrific cinematographer. Of course, he went on to do The Matrix. I believe he did the Spider-Man 1 and 2. And some of the stuff that Sam Raimi and Pope do in this movie is nothing short of spectacular. It's really quite inspired filmmaking, and it's still a rather low-budget affair, and yet it looks really sharp. And for anyone who's a fan of, sword and sandal picks, Lord of the Rings, I think that this is a nice sort of counterweight to that. It's like Lord of the Rings on acid. It's just so weird. And the practical effects are great, along with that snazzy cinematography. And of course, Bruce Campbell is just absolute camp gold in this. He has just some of the most bizarre and funny and strange one-liners that I've ever seen in a B movie. So the Steelbook is quite lovely, actually. Very tasteful in its artistic rendering, and I'm not a huge Steelbook fan because I find they scratch too easily, but I definitely like this because not only does it have the theatrical cut in 4K, which looks great, incidentally, it also features the other cuts out there. There's the Blu-ray theatrical, but it has the director's cut and then the international cut / television cut. So basically, it's got every version of this film that has been seen, short of the super cut, which apparently exists. It splices all three films together. Is this movie great? No, it's a B movie. It's camp, but I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. Its humor is just absolutely spot on, and I think some of the the visual flourishes and the aesthetics of the film are really interesting and indicative of some things to come from both Raimi and Pope later on with the Spider-Man, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man films. So definitely, I believe this is out. I mean, it was, when I at least picked it up, for $10, which is a steal. I've got the second Evil Dead on Blu-ray, and I don't own the first one. I've seen the first one on VHS, and I almost feel like that's where it should stay. The first one is a funny movie in that there's a lot of limitations that are pretty evident. It's definitely a low budget, almost cheap looking horror film, and there's some things in there that are a little bit, I would argue, just not great. It's not a great film, but it's definitely a seminal film, and one that deserves its reputation as being one of those awesome 80s horror films. But I think Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness are pretty damn terrific and very entertaining to watch. So if you happen to come across this, I highly recommend picking it up. It also features just a load of supplemental materials on the making of this film, including a documentary that's feature length. So definitely give it a look if you've not seen it. And until that next time, whatever it shall be, please do stay safe out there, be kind, and by all means, keep watching good cinema.